Hi everyone, and welcome to another great tutorial on CreativeCow.net. This is Grant Swanson, Visual Effects Supervisor of Video Apex, and in this tutorial I'm going to take you through the steps of creating an easy and very high quality bleach bypass effect right inside of After Effects. Now, there are a lot of After Effects tutorials online that show some way of doing this, but none of them really explain what it actually refers to, and as a result they often don't turn out very realistically. So in order to simulate the look, we need to understand exactly what the bleach bypass effect is. Basically, if you can remember back to your old-fashioned photography class for a minute, you'll remember a step in the development process in which you bleach the film. And obviously, to create a bleach bypass effect, you simply bypass this step. And by doing this, the silver particles that make up a part of the film emulsion remain, the saturation of the image decreases, and since there are more silver grains on the emulsion, both contrast and graininess are increased. By knowing this, we can simulate this for digital video. So I've got this shot here, and it looks fine, but I think it would be cool to add a bleach bypass to it. So with our footage and composition, we'll go to Layer, New, Adjustment Layer. And you don't have to do this, but whenever I add a color correction, I like to do it on an adjustment layer, so that I can always adjust the opacity and mix it back into the original shot later on. And just drag this beneath the letterbox, and if you're wondering how to create the letterbox, you can find that out in my previous tutorial, Creating Digital Cinema, also hosted on Creative Cow. Alright, now to start off, it seems a little too bright, and so I want to make it darker. So I'll select the footage, not the adjustment layer, and I'll go to Effect, Color Correction, Exposure, and just bring the exposure down until it looks good, right around here. That should be good, and that should work for now. So the first step is to take down some of the colors, especially blue. The shot is just way too bright blue for this effect, and what will allow us to do this is the Hue and Saturation Effect. So we can come and apply that Effect, Color Correction, Hue Saturation, and to reduce just the blue information, we can come into the blue channel, and just bring this down, and you can see that actually not a whole lot is happening because the image is actually cyan, and a lot of the parts on the pants and the floor stay blue. And so that tells us that the majority of this color that makes up the image is actually cyan, which is a light blue. So we'll take the blue down some, but then come into the cyan and take that down a bit. And you can see that that really does the trick for us. Just take it to wherever looks good. Alright, now if we move back into the master channel, we can adjust the overall saturation based on the individual saturation of those individual colors that we just adjusted. So to whatever looks good around here, something pretty minimal should work. Alright, now we want to increase contrast but keep detail. So we'll go ahead and apply the curves effect instead of levels. Effect, color correction, curves. And we just want to sort of add a nice S-shaped curve here to increase the contrast, just until this looks good. And of course, we can always adjust it later on. But this looks fine for now. And this will boost up the saturation, so you may have to go back and adjust that also. The pants are just too blue, so work with the two and tweak them both until you find something you like. Something around here looks fine. And to balance it out, we can even come into the yellow channel and bring that up some. Oop, not that much, just a little. Right there looks good. And lastly, we can bring the opacity of the adjustment layer down until we get a look that we like. So hit T to reveal the opacity parameters, and drag the numbers to the left to bring them down. And it can be very subtle. Around here looks nice. And there we have a quick and easy bleach bypass effect. And also, if you wanted, you could add grain to further sell the effect. But this particular video is already pretty noisy, which looks a lot like grain, especially after our color treatment. One last thing here before I go, I've created a free animation preset for this bleach bypass look and for 4 other cinematic looks that are all available on my blog, videoapex.net. Depending on when you watch this, you may have to archive back to July of 2008 to get them, and you simply download them, bring them into the After Effects directory's presets folder on your hard drive, and they're ready for you to use in your projects. They are copyrighted though, so you may not redistribute them, hand them out to others, or copy them. To use them, you simply, if I delete these quickly, you simply double click on the one you want to use over here in the Effects and Presets panel with your adjustment layer selected, and then adjust the layer to your preference, the opacity. And it's a high quality way to add a nice look to your video images. And as you can see for yourself, they do look very nice. And the bleach bypass effect we created today is included in these 5 free presets. I will mention though that these will only be available for a limited amount of time remaining, so hurry up and get them before it's too late. Alright, once again, this is Grant Swanson with Video Apex, and of course for CreativeCow.net.